your skin, benda yang memang mudah untuk kita mention, memang benda-benda yang kita senang nak measure, we have we shouldn't have any problems. But untuk yang satu lagi yang nampak macam abstract, macam subjektif ni, inilah yang mana you need a very good questions in your questionnaire to measure the variables. That's why kalau orang buat research, bila dia letak variables tu, you take that as your independent variables or dependent variables, the question is how you will measure it. Okay, kalau kata job satisfaction, you need a very good questions to measure the level of job satisfaction. Okay, maknanya soalan-soalan tu mesti betul-betul dapat represent dia punya job satisfaction. That's what we mean by the good measurement. That's what we mean by measurement. And it's actually reflected from your questionnaire. So basically in our kita kata tu konsep ataupun benda yang kita nak evaluate dalam kita punya ataupun benda yang kita nak measure dalam kita punya research tu will much depending on your operational definition. Meaning that definitions that give meaning to a concept or construct by specifying the activities or operations that necessary to measure it. Maknanya you kena bagi tahu dekat dalam research you tu, when you talk about job satisfaction, what is the definition of job satisfaction based on your research tu. Sebab as we know, there are so many definitions on job satisfaction. For example lah, so dalam konteks you ni, apa yang you maksudkan dengan job satisfaction dalam study you tu? Why? Because your measurement letter will reflect the definitions that you use in your study. Okay, maknanya mungkin kalau ada contohnya lah, kalau you buat research tentang sustainability, kan? As we know, the sustainability ataupun sustainable development ni, especially the sustainability lah, have many definition based on few perspective. So you need to mention in your operational definition, what do you mean by sustainability in your study? Why we need to define it well? Because reader will get an idea what sustainability that you like to discuss in your study. And when people are looking at your data how you measure it, dia kena reflect baliklah dengan definition yang you cakap. Kalau sustainability yang you masukkan ni, contoh kan sustainability dalam research itu sebenarnya referring kepada maintaining the company's position sahaja. So you need to explain on your research. Itu yang you maksudkan dengan sustainability. So nanti bila you measure sustainability in the company tu, you are actually focusing on how the company is maintaining the position lah. Gitu. So untuk operational definition ni nanti, you need to have one section in your research report to explain about your operational definition. Normally, you need to explain ataupun you need to define your operational definitions ni section 1, chapter 1 at the last section. Okay, and what are the things that you need to describe actually ataupun benda yang you nak kena explain ataupun define tu, you mesti kena explain balik your variables punya, what is the operational definitions of your variables. Okay, independent variables itu apa yang you maksudkan dengan benda tu. Okay, independent variable tu, okay, kalau you cakap tu, what do you mean by that? Sebab kita kena jelas lah. So nanti bila you dah measure, it will kata tu reflect apa yang sebenarnya you nak cari. Itulah kita kena ada operational definition. Sebab kita kena tahu apa yang you nak cari sebenarnya. Kan, apa yang you maksudkan dengan konsep yang you nak tengok. Kalau you kata job satisfaction, apa tu job satisfaction? Okay, job satisfaction bla bla bla. Maknanya nanti bila you evaluate, you ada questionnaire. Your questionnaire tu, question dalam questionnaire tu dia akan around that definition. Okay. So now we move to the types of scale. Jadi kita ni dah masuk tau kepada bila I sebut measurement, measurement. Bila I sebut how to measure, is actually reflected to the questions you have in the questionnaire. Alright. So how to measure? Maknanya what kind of questions that you want to use in order to evaluate the variables ataupun to measure the variables. So in research, especially the quantitative analysis ataupun quantitative research, is depending on the types of skills that you use. Okay, so there are three main types of skill. Main. Ada satu lagi tu ratio lah 4. Tapi normally kita guna 3 ni. We have nominal, we have ordinal and we have interval scale. Jadi tu bila you buat questionnaire, you tengok you punya question tu nanti sesuai nak guna ordinal ke, sesuai nak guna nominal ke ataupun interval. Okay, so it goes back to your research types of your research ataupun types of investigation. Kalau you buat descriptive study, mostly you can apa tu orang kata mostly all of the types of skill is suitable to use. You still can measure sebab you are interested to looking at the descriptive analysis. So kebanyakan skill tu boleh bantu you lah to describe. Maknanya it can help you to measure benda yang you nak cari tu. Tapi kalau you buat correlational studies, which your studies is orang kata tu looking for relationship kan, yang study yang mana dia punya RQ tu RQ dia tu what is the relationship between A and B. You have to be careful on the types of scale because every variables that you have in the construct tu you just need to use you only can use interval scale. Okay, so I akan tunjukkanlah apakah contoh-contoh skills tu tadi. So nominal skill basically you will classify your sample based on common characteristic lah such as gender and race and then a scale also which the numbers assigned to sample could serve as levels of identification. So normally nominal skill ni maksudnya kita categorizekan kita punya respondent. So normally bila kita categorizekan tu your respondent need to answer ataupun need to give only one answer lah to that questions and you can give them many option here. But the options you have ni pun orang kata tu dia macam bergantung semula lah with what kinds of information kan. Contohnya lah kalau you nak cakap pasal state daripada mana dia kan, daripada mana orang kata apa tu, dia tinggal di negeri mana satu. As we know Malaysia ni ada 14 kan. Jadi you still boleh listkan lah 14 so that dia boleh pilih. Antara 14 negeri tu dia berasal daripada negeri yang mana. Okay, itu nominal scale. So basically nominal scale ni benda yang dia pilih. Dia pilih satu daripada banyak soalan. Itu pilih satu daripada banyak-banyak pilihan jawapan. Itu nominal scale. And ordinal scale basically arrangement of sample according to their magnitude of characteristics. Maksudnya dalam ordinal scales ni dia ada properties of nominal scale. Maksudnya the meaning of properties of nominal scale ni maknanya dia adalah ala-ala macam nominal scale tadi tu. Cuma bezanya dalam ordinal scales tadi tu your respondent need to respond to each option, but they have to arrange it based on their magnitude lah ataupun based on their experience ke, based on their perceptions on that particular questions. Contohnya macam ni, you dah listkan kan 5. Kalau tadi yang nominal they only have to choose one kan, but if you looking at this instruction, that's why dalam kita punya questionnaire instruction is very important because the instruction actually will give us a signal lah, is it ordinal ke, nominal ke ataupun interval. So in this case the researcher like the respondent to rank the most important item as 1 next to until lah 5 for the less important. Jadi you kena name, you kena letak every option ni, you kena letak antara 1 sampai 5. Itu kita kata ordinal scale. Jadi kat situ kita nampak lah how important all of these factors, for example kan, ataupun these characteristics to sample before they buy a smartphone. Okay, apa dulu you tengok? How they prioritize. Okay, this is more on how they prioritize the options. Okay. And the next scale is interval scales. So basically under the interval scales, the skills tu have the properties of ordinal scale. Dia macam ordinal scale, macam you kena rank something like that kan, ataupun nak tengok kecenderungan kita kan, we are at which scale begitu Jadi tapi dalam yang tadi tu you have to give a something like you have to give a scale for every option kan. Tapi kalau untuk interval scales ni you need to give only one answer for every item. But your answers ataupun sample you punya answers tu tadi tu ataupun dia punya respon tu, the sample response shows his or her magnitude ataupun kita kata dia punya perceptions ataupun dia punya jawapan lah kepada item yang you berikan. Okay, so untuk soalan macam ni, the item is very important. Okay, so because the item ni lah yang akan menentukan how you measure the variables. Adakah soalan-soalan you ni dapat bantu you untuk dapatkan balik apa yang you nak cari. That's what we meant by measurement. Okay, so ingat tadi saya cakap measurement tu dia akan berbalik-balik kepada question questions yang you ada dalam questionnaire. How good your questionnaire is very important to determine the way you measured your variables tadi tu. Jadi kena pilihlah skill yang terbaik, kena pilih skill yang berpatutan dan juga tengok balik juga types of analysis yang you nak buat in order to choose either ordinal, intervals ataupun nominal. Satu lagi ratio yang ada skill adalah ratio skill, tapi kita jarang jumpa sebab dia agak complicated nanti untuk di analysis which you will expect your respondent to respond to your questions by comparing by using a ratio between one or between two option. Okay, jadi itu ratio scale. So in your case ni you all, untuk you all nanti bila you all nak buat questionnaire you, saya dah minta suruh you cari kan, cuba you tengok dalam contoh questionnaire yang you ada tu, what types of skills that they have. Kalau you all buat descriptive, kalau you all buat descriptive study, you may have nominal and interval. You may have nominal and interval, and kalau you buat correlational studies, basically you only can have nominal for the respondent profile sahaja. But untuk every variables, you only can measure the variables by using the interval scale. Itu you kena tahu. So kita nak tengok and how you organize your questionnaire is also important lah. Takkanlah soalan satu pakai nominal, lepas tu nombor 2 dah interval pula, nombor 3 balik-balik nominal, nombor 4 jadi your questionnaire tu nanti tak orang kata tu tak cantik lah. So you need to organize your questions, so that it will look nice and it also will encourage your respondent to answer next questions. Sebab kadang-kadang kalau kita punya questionnaire tu tak elok pun dia akan discourage kita punya respondent to finish their response. Jadi rupa questionnaire kita tu pun should be nice lah. And now looking at the criteria of good measurement. So basically saya akan cuba explain yang lebih mudah lah untuk kaitan dengan how to make sure we have a good questionnaire. The first criteria for us to measure our questionnaire, maksudnya nak tahu questionnaire kita tu bagus ke tak, dia depends on dua, reliability dengan validity. So kalau untuk validity ni is actually ensure the ability of your questionnaire tu to give accurate and consistent result. Maknanya soalan itu memang bagus untuk dapatkan data yang you nak. Maknanya you ask a good question, right? If you ask a good questions, then your reliability can be increased. But we also have a way ataupun kita ada juga cara nak analyze the reliability of our questionnaire. Maksudnya there are analysis that will help us to determine how good our questionnaire is. And so basically on reliability, we can do test, retest, reliability, internal consistent reliability, speed half reliability or equivalent form reliability. But the most easiest one actually to test the reliability is by looking at the Cronbach alpha values. Okay. So macam mana nak dapat ni media Cronbach alpha values ni? Cronbach alpha values ni sebenarnya you kena test dia menggunakan SPSS. Okay. That is why bila kita buat questionnaire, kita kena buat pilot study. Dalam research yang sebenarnya, kita kena buat pilot study. The purpose of the pilot study itu tadi tu to help us ensure that our questionnaire is reliable. Okay, maknanya kita nak pastikan soalan kita tu bagus ke tak, kan? Kita buat pilot study, which is you will take some portions of your sample, okay, and then ask them to answer the questionnaire and you test dia punya reliability statistics. So normally dalam pilot study mungkin we have about 50 to do the pilot study. Jadi kita kena run dan tengoklah dia punya Cronbach alpha values, okay. So nanti cara macam mana nak check Cronbach alpha apa semua tu you boleh. Nanti kita akan belajar bila dah ada SPSS tu. Bila you dah masuk dalam SPSS tu, okay, dia ada cara macam mana kita nak measure the validity as well as the reliability lah especially. Okay. Okay, jadi untuk yang Cronbach alpha tu, we want our Cronbach alpha value to be almost to 1.0. Maksudnya kalau lagi dekat close to 1.0 tu, the reliability will be increased lah. Kira macam excellent lah you punya Cronbach alpha. Okay, you dengar listen Since I will allow my students to skip the pilot study sebab I believe on the time constraint, okay. It is very important for you to adapt or adopt the questionnaire. Maknanya bukan you start the questionnaire from scratch. Bukan you yang reka soalan tu. You take the question from somewhere else. Okay. Because if you adopt from the established questionnaire, normally the questionnaire will let you know the Cronbach alpha of that questionnaire. Okay. Maknanya dalam artikel tu dah bagi tahu dah questionnaire dia tu berapa dia punya Cronbach alpha. And normally the Cronbach alpha is good. So kita tak payahlah, kita boleh skip pilot study sebab kita dah percaya bahawa questionnaire tu reliability-nya bagus sebab it was adopted lah from the previous research, kan. Jadi kita boleh rely on that. Okay. By right, kalau you tak adopted ni maknanya ambil 100%. Okay. Let's say you adapt ni maknanya mungkin you punya questionnaire tu a mix of several sources, kan? Okay. You still need to do the pilot study. Ini I bagi tahu dalam konteks sebenar lah. You still need to do the pilot study because you are mixing your questionnaire. Okay, maksudnya you bukanlah ambil bulat-bulat daripada satu questionnaire. You dah mix, kan, from the various sources. Jadi kalau macam tu sepatutnya kena buat pilot study. Okay. Since I'll take your study research yang you buat sekarang ni as a simulation and consider the time constraint, I boleh skip yang pilot study tu. Sebab dia kena collect dulu dan kena run balik tau. Kalau katalah Cronbach alpha dia tu rendah, you need to delete the items that contribute to the low Cronbach alpha value. Itu cara dia. Okay, macam mana kita nak dapatkan good Cronbach alpha. That is why sometimes in research, okay, orang yang buat research ni, bila dia design dulu questionnaire, dia akan letak banyak dulu soalan. Let's say lah semasa pilot study tu, kan, they may have 7 questions for each section. Tapi nanti bila dia run pilot study tu and then dia run reliability analysis ni and reliability tu tak tak tinggi sangat dan dia nak naikkan lagi kelompok alpha dia, dia boleh delete item yang mana kelompok alpha for each item tu rendah. Jadi by deleting those items tu, it will increase lagi lah dia punya kelompok alpha. So bila kita dah delete tu, kalau kita tadi ada 7 soalan kan dalam satu section tu, kalau kita delete 2 maknanya ada lagi 5. So it's still considered enough lah to evaluate ataupun to measure the variables. So let's say lah kalau orang tu ada 4 soalan je kan, mungkin satu soalan nanti kelompok alpha rendah, lepas tu tiba nak delete, nak bagi increase tinggal 3 soalan. So it is not sufficient enough lah to measure the variables. Normally it also will affect the kelompok alpha lah. Okay, jadi this is how we we make sure questionnaire kita tu bagus by using the reliability analysis. Okay, other than reliability, we also can test the the quality of the questionnaire based on the validity lah. Validity means measuring instruments to instruments to measure what is intended to be measured. Senang cerita, soalan you tu relevance dengan apa yang you nak cari. Okay, dan is also relevance to the variables that you are measuring. Okay, sebab kadang-kadang ada benda ni dia tengah for example lah, dia nak measure on kita katalah dia nak tengok stress level and then factor stress level kan. And one of the factors yang dia nak tengok tu maknanya one of the variables tadi tu kita kata working environment. Contoh, okay, working environment. Tapi soalan-soalan dia tu tak pun tanya pasal working environment contohnya. Soalan tu cerita pasal mungkin soalan-soalan dia tu berkisar tentang kehidupan dia ke. Maksudnya tak valid lah. Soalan yang you tanya tu tak valid to measure working environment. Maknanya soalan tu nanti yang you pilih nanti kena reflect ataupun kena relevance dengan variable yang you nak measure. Okay, kita akan tengok balik soalan tu. Adakah soalan tu bersesuaian ataupun tidak dengan apa yang you nak cari. Okay, itu validity. So basically dalam validity pun sebenarnya secara ninya tu ada juga approach lah yang mana kita boleh gunakan, that is phase of content validity. So basically for phase of content validity, we ask the expert to check the content of your questionnaire. So in your case, I will help you to do the content validity lah. Maknanya I yang akan tengok sama ada you punya sama ada you punya questions tu okay ataupun tidak. So basically it's how lah we can do the ni. And then a criterion related validity, alright. So basically under criterion validity ni, you can look at in terms of the concurrent validity as well as the predictive validity. So basically this validity is referring to the relevance of your questionnaire to your sample. Okay, so kalau saya tak setuju, adakah soalan tu pun sesuai untuk saya yang tak setuju, dan soalan tu juga sesuai untuk orang yang tak setuju. Maksudnya soalan kita tu pun tak boleh bias kepada mana-mana. Jadi this also will influence our validity. Other than that, we also can measure the construct validity. So basically on this construct validity, we would like to measure and to confirm a related hypothesis generated from a theory lah. So basically yang ini untuk kita kata construct validity ni, kalau kita gunakan SPSS tu kita panggil sebagai exploratory factor analysis lah. Dia ada juga analisis macam mana nak tengok validity, but this is more concerned on the research that would like to test the hypothesis lah. Maknanya yang menggunakan semua soalan dia berbentuk interval. Okay, berbentuk interval. Jadi untuk you all content validity pun I dah consider okay lah untuk your simulation process ni Okay, now we looking at the rating scales. Okay, tadi kita dah tahu kan ada 3 jenis scale, main scale dalam measurement. Maksudnya questionnaire kita tadi tu boleh guna sama ada nominal, ordinal ataupun interval. So dalam each ordinal tu ada banyak juga jenis-jenis lagi rating scale yang you boleh adopt lah in your questionnaire. Tapi tengok balik sama ada rating scale ni tadi ni sesuai ataupun tidak lah untuk measure apa yang you nak cari. Okay, sebab yang penting kita nak tengok measurement. Macam mana kita nak measure. Okay, so apa rating scale yang kita nak guna. Itu yang you have to understand ya. First, we have dichotomous scale. Basically, dichotomous scales will fall under the ordinal, nominal. Dichotomous ni yes or no. Basically, the question, the respondents only have about two options. Yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. Tapi you, kalau even though you are descriptive study pun, kalau soalannya tu semua yes or no pun tak sedap juga. Betul tak you all? Sebab tak semua yes or no tu boleh measure apa yang you nak cari. Dia kena macam tu you. You nak pilih dia intercotomous ke nanti kategori scale ke apa ke, you kena make sure satu je. Soalan tu boleh tak measure yang you nak cari, variable yang you nak cari. Contohlah, I bagi contoh. Let's say lah I nak tengok frequency macam my student buat unhealthy food consumption. Contoh kan, unhealthy food consumption. And one of the variables that will determine the trend in unhealthy food consumption is the frequency. So variable dia satu frequency. You rasa untuk what is the best question to measure frequency of food consumption? Anyone? Apa soalan yang sesuai nak tanya? You. Apa soalan yang sesuai nak ditanya? Untuk tanya, nak tahu frekuensi dia consume unhealthy food. Apa soalan nak tanya?
Their food intake.
Okay. Again, Huda?
Their food intake.
Their food intake. Okay, Faiz kata rating the frequency consume unhealthy food from 1 to 5. Okay, good try Faiz. Kita detailkan lagi soalan you ni. You nak dia rate kan daripada 1 ke 5. 1 tu apa, 5 tu apa? Ni Faiz. Faiz? Cuba you type. 1 tu apa? You suruh dia rate kan, frekuensi kan. 1 not true. Okay. Okay, kita ambil yang Izlan cakap, Faiz ni cakap kan. Nak rating frekuensi tapi dia kata kita boleh buat 1 not true, 5 very true. Siapa lagi nak rasa nak betulkan Faiz punya jawapan yang 1 sampai 5 tu? Okay. Anyone? Anyone to try? Okay, Syed kata strongly disagree, strongly agree. Maknanya you percaya apa? Anyone can write the questions to this response. Sebab macam strong disagree, strongly agree ni respon dia kan? Apa dia punya statement ataupun question dia? Anyone? Anyone can add the question and then jawapan dia. Macam yang Sakuan Faiz letak ni, more on the answer. Kan? Respon yang dia orang akan pilih. Apa soalan dia? Anyone? Cuba tulis. Sekarang ni cerita dia nak measure frequency of unhealthy food consumption. What is the questions? Anyone? Did you agree chicken butter better than masala chicken? Okay. Alright. Ingat ya, kita punya sekarang ni, kita punya variable. I tanya kat situ, variable kita adalah frequency of unhealthy food consumption. And healthy food, ya Allah. And unhealthy food consumption. Itu kita punya variable. Yang kita nak cari tu. Kita nak cari dan kita nak measure frequency of unhealthy food consumption. Okay. Yes, Wahida dapat. Yes, good Atia. Pandai pun. Ini yang dimaksudkan dengan kita measure. Faham tak? Nampak tak? Soalan tadi tu boleh measure, you have to make sure soalan yang you tanya tu can measure the frequency of unhealthy food consumption. Okay, macam soalan Wahidah lah. How many times you consume fast food in a month? Very good. Atia, how often did you take unhealthy food per week? Betul. Jadi nanti jawapan dia tu, dia boleh gunalah for this kind of question is very easy to measure, is very clear. So you boleh gunalah mungkin jawapan dia satu letak, siapa boleh bagi dia punya pilihan jawapan. We take the examples from Wahidah dengan Tia. Kan? Kalau Wahidah dia terus tanya in a month. So mungkin dia boleh pilihan jawapan dia once a month. Lepas tu yang kedua 2 to 3 times a month. Yang keempat dia mungkin cakap every 2 times per week in a month contohnya. Yes, dia kan Faiz, dia bergantung kepada variable you. Dia bergantung kepada variable. Variable tu maksudnya konsep tadilah. Ada setengah konsep, ada setengah benda variable tu straight je you tanya satu soalan, you boleh measure. Betul tak? Macam tadilah kalau kita nak tahu dia punya age, kan? Kalau dia nak tahu dia punya gender, senang kan? Okay Huda, untuk kalau jawab not so often, very often, it's still not accurately measure the frequency. Faham tak Huda? Sebab my often may different with your often. My very often may different with your very often. Faham tak you all? Dia dia mungkin tak tepat. Jadi kita nak tepat kan? Sebab you kena faham the main purpose of measurement ni to help you to get the most accurate data. The most accurate data daripada apa yang you nak tahu tu. So sekarang ni you nak tahu frekuensi tu. Kalau you bagi jawapan dia how often, you still lagi tak boleh jawab how frequent dia take the healthy food. Betul tak? Am I right? Betul?
Betul.
Jadi nak tahu accurately ni. Okay. Selalu tu bila, nampak tak? Dia still lagi ada next question kan? Kalau macam tu maknanya question yang you ada tu dia belum lagi well measured the variables. Okay. Jadi you kena tanya, kalau tu macam kita ambil balik soal macam Wahidah dengan Tiah tulis tu boleh. So pilihan jawapan dia tu be specific in order for you to get accurate data. Faham tak? Then your questions will be reliable and valid to measure the frequency of unhealthy food consumption. Faham? That's why kita kata, kalau ada benda, that's why kita tengok konsep tu tadi ataupun construct tu. Konsep, construct, variable. Benda yang sama kalau I sebut tu. Ada konsep, construct or variable yang mudah kita measure. Faham tak? Yang mudah. Warna rambut you apa? Straight away you boleh jawab kan? Warna you, mata you warna apa? Boleh jawab tak? Macam ni jugalah. Frequency of healthy food. Boleh jawab kan? Dia ada one determined answer. Tapi bila kita buat research ni, ada benda yang is not enough only one question to measure the variable. Betul tak? Betul? Kalau I tanya your satisfaction on KFC contohnya, kan? Your satisfaction on KFC. I believe that one question is not enough to measure your satisfaction on a KFC product. Betul? Right or not? Itu yang kita kata satu lagi konsep tadi tu. Construct yang mana dia nakkan one set of question yang betul-betul boleh measure customer satisfaction on KFC's product tadi tu. So maybe one question tak boleh lah. Mungkin kena ada few question yang betul-betul measure the satisfaction on KFC. Okay. Jadi that's why kalau you tengok research yang complicated, research yang betul-betul high scale punya research, questionnaire dia banyak. Kan? Banyak questionnaire. Sebab apa? Sebenarnya lagi you nak dapatkan jawapan yang lagi accurate, lagi banyaklah soalan nak kena tanya. Betul tak? Sebab you will measure the variables from many angle. Semua you nak tanya. Tapi kita kena tahu juga, kita kena aware juga. Kadang-kadang tu too many question in the questionnaire juga akan discourage sample to respond. That's why kalau you tengok orang yang contohnya orang buat research yang besar-besar, orang yang buat research dalam PhD contohnya kan, normally their questions are quite many. Sebab dia betul-betul nak data yang accurate kan. Normally they will give reward tau dekat orang yang jawab dia punya questionnaire tu. Because it's not easy actually to appeal people to convince people to stay and respond to your questionnaire from start to the end. Sebab bergantunglah. So untuk you all nanti, cuba you setkan lebih kurang 6 soalan untuk setiap variable. Boleh 6 ke 7 soalan. Sebab kita akan tengok pula nanti 6 ke 7 soalan tu sesuai ke tidak, well measured the variables or not, is it the skill tu proper ke tidak. So kena tengok. Jadi daripada contoh mudah tadi tu, and you faham tak macam mana bila kita nak buat soalan ni? Kita bukan boleh tanya je kan. Kita kena tengok apa yang kita nak cari. Okay? So daripada apa yang you nak cari tu nanti, you kena tanya soalan yang betul. Okay, dan bukan soalan sahaja tahu betul. Pilihan jawapan yang you bagi pun kena tepat. Because in quantitative research, questionnaire is very important. Because this is only way for you to measure the variables. Okay, this is the only way for you to get the data. Jadi you kena be careful lah bila you buat questionnaire. Okay, so this dichotomous, boleh guna juga kategori scale. Kategori ni basically senang je lah. Still lagi under ordinal tadi, nominal ni. Pilih satu di antara banyak-banyak jawapan. Gitu. Okay, and then ni Likert scale. Ni Likert scale ni maknanya scale, contoh salah satu contoh scale under interval lah. Dalam interval ni ada few juga scale. This is the most common one lah. So I think you all nanti maybe you can use Likert scale lah untuk interval. Okay. Ada lain ke? Ada lain. Dia ada semantic differential scale. Nampak tak? Dia macam interval jugalah. You kena pilih antara suka ke tak suka. Tapi ini dia lebih kepada nak describe, nak measure the characteristics of object or subject. Okay. Dia lebih sesuai kalau you nak macam tu lah, nak evaluate karakteristik tu. How good, not good, macam tu And then numerical scale pun masih lagi interval kalau you tengok. Rating macam tu dan pilih satu. Cumanya di sini dia pilih lah, ada bagi tahu dan extremely effective ni. This is also represent ataupun can measure, can be used to measure the characteristic as well lah. Okay. And then graphic writing skills, ni menggunakan grafik. Okay, pilihlah. Are you happy today? Satisfied? Sebenarnya sama je medium kalau dengan kategori tu. Samalah. Tapi untuk grafik ni, kita gunakan grafik to indicates the answer. And then kita ada juga ni constant sum rating scale. This one especially if you want to measure how your sample consume ataupun spend their money ke, saving ke, kan. Contoh if you have 300 ringgit, kan, please how much would you save in this option contohnya. ASB berapa kau saving, tabung berapa saving, macam tu. Pun boleh juga ada jenis macam ni. Tapi ingat, apa jenis ni pun kena tengok balik apa yang kita nak evaluate, apa yang kita nak measure. Tak semua sesuai untuk apa yang kita nak measure. Jadi kena tengok balik. Okay. Staple scale pun lebih kurang macam, dia pun still lah, macam staple scale pun masih lagi interval. You give a negative to the bad one and then positive to the good one. And atomized rating scale. How likely, kalau you tengok ni, dia pilih satu je kan. Dia tak ada rating. Tapi sebenarnya kalau you tengok response dia tu, basically it shows dia punya intensity kepada response dia tu. Sangat suka ke tidak suka ke, okay, itu pun boleh. So untuk you all, you banyak rating scale yang ada ni, cuba tengok balik contoh yang I suruh you cari tu. You tengok daripada contoh tu, okay, ada apa jenis scale yang you ada, dan you evaluate balik adakah scale tu bersesuaian dengan research you, bersesuaian dengan variable yang you nak cari. Itu kita kena, we have to check semulalah you punya questionnaire tu. So ada soalan tak setakat ni? Is there any question?
Tak ada, madam.
Okay, macam ni. So untuk next class, I want to see your questionnaire. We will discuss about the sample of questionnaire. Kita akan tengok, dan I think you dah kena start develop your own questionnaire. You kena buat dah lah questionnaire tu, kan? So you cuba tunjukkan you punya soalan yang you plan untuk you punya study. So masa you tunjuk tu, I also need to see your, sekali lagi, you punya research question and your conceptual framework. Okay, kenapa? Sebab benda ni kena mesti interrelated. Kan? Jadi kita nak tengok balik. Apakah soalan you tu memang relevance dengan variables yang you nak tengok. Okay, dan juga relevance dengan research question you. Okay, boleh you all? Boleh
Boleh,
So nanti you buat tu satu variable, sebab macam ni. Kalau kata dalam you punya conceptual framework tu kan, basically you all ada 3 independent, 1 dependent variable kan? Betul tak? So kita tengok balik. Secantiknya you boleh buat satu variables tu dalam 5-6 soalan. Okay, dan I percaya variables tu tadi tu pun should reflect lah you punya research question. Okay, so that's why kita tengok balik nanti you punya research question, you punya construct, especially yang descriptive ni. Kadang-kadang descriptive study ni dia punya construct dia tu ataupun dia punya conceptual framework tu not really 100% kita kata reflect dia punya research question. Jadi kita kena tengok balik. Yang penting questionnaire kita tu mesti help us juga to answer kita punya research question, and at the same time dia kena juga macam evaluate lah variables yang you are interested to study. Okay you all?
Okay, madam.
You all ni akan balik kan campus nanti kan?
Madam, next week.
So
Betul, madam.
okay, so starting week 9 kita akan ada face to face every Monday kita punya kelas kan? Every Monday macam ni lah kan? Petang kan?
Betul, madam.
Yang kita punya face to face, dan yang next Rabu tu kita punya online. Jadi Rabu ni lah Zakun. Rabu. Ya? Rabu ni lah I nak tengok questionnaire itu. Draft je lah apa yang you ada, apa contoh-contoh daripada yang you dah pasal dah quite many times kan I remind you about the questionnaire. So show me what you have dia takkan jadi macam first tu dah betul, tak ada. Mungkin akan nanti tak apa, memang that is the process lah. Okay, ada few question nanti you kena tukar, ada soalan yang tak sesuai. Bila you bagi I tunjuk you punya questionnaire tu, bagi soalan dengan jawapan dia sekali lah. Tak naklah soalan apa jawapan yang you nak you punya question, you punya responden jawab ni. Sebab jawapan tu that is also part of the measurement lah. Okay, itu pun penting kita nak tengok. Jadi ada soalan, jawapan. Apa soalan dia, apa jawapan dia. Faham? Okay, ada soalan tak you all? You all okay ke?
So far okay, madam.
Okay, I hope you can follow lah the process. By right, should be no problem kalau you all betul-betul ikut ni. Cumanya rasa lagi ni yang I kena check sekali lagi, you all punya problem statement je. Tak apa, insyaAllah nanti kita akan take time untuk check kan sebelum you hantar you punya proposal Okay, you all kalau tak ada apa-apa soalan, I think that's all for today.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, welcome. So we still got time. If you would like to discuss with your group member regarding your questionnaire or anything related to research, please do so. Okay, you all.
Okay, madam.
Okay,
Thank
okay,
you. Okay,
bye.
madam.
Okay,
Thank you,
bye.
madam.
Welcome. Bye.